To make this recipe, you're going to need 2 pounds of ground turkey and 2 tablespoons of ranch seasoning and 2 teaspoons of salt. And you're just going to mix all these ingredients together until they're well incorporated. And we ended up making 2 pounds total because we're trying to feed 8 people. So if you want to cut this recipe in half, more than welcome to do so. It's time to roll out the meatballs, and I rolled them 2 inches in diameter, and I just spread them on a baking sheet that I had. And since this was 2 pounds, it took up quite a bit of space on this pan, but it was well worth putting all that meat. This meal ended up lasting for about 2.5 meals for us, and it had everything I needed. And at one point I ended up adding some brown rice for the kids to have and turned that also into an meal for myself, because before that I think it would have still been like within the fuel pool because the meat was pretty lean. And all in all, this recipe really turned out amazing. So I hope you all give this a try. And it looks like a lot of work, but it's really not. It took about 15 minutes to 20 minutes to prepare the whole thing and set it in the pressure cooker and let it cook. Go over to the Instant Pot, and you want to hit saute and then add about 1 tablespoon of olive oil to start with. Once the Instant Pot is heated, go ahead and add your meatballs to the pan and just put them throughout the pan separated, and try not to let them touch each other so that they can cook evenly. And we're just going to be trying to brown the outsides because we're going to cook this, and everything is going to cook within the inside after we brown the outside. Okay, the next step is just to take out the meatballs once they have browned and set them aside in a bowl or plate until we have all the meatballs out, because then we're going to add some white wine to the bottom, or vinegar. Okay, so I added 1/4 cup of white wine and scraped some of the browning off of the bottom. And then I'm going to add 1 quart of chicken stock to this pan. And I stir it and continue to scrape at the bottom to get a lot of that browning off to add more flavor to the soup. And I know I said this before, but this soup tasted amazing. And I didn't get to eat it right away because I ended up going out. And so the kids ate it first. And then the next day I had some, and I'm sure it was even better. Now I'm going to add the remainder of the meatballs back to the pan. So on the last set of meatballs, I didn't completely remove them. And after I add those meatballs, I grab my pre-diced celery, onions, tomatoes, and I had about maybe 4 stalks of celery and 3 long carrots and a whole onion. It's up to you how much you want to put in there. I tried to leave the carrots for the kids in order not to eat too many of them. I added what would have been about 14 ounces of diced tomatoes. Now we're going to add half a tablespoon of basil, half a tablespoon of Italian seasoning, 1 teaspoon of salt, and half a teaspoon of garlic seasoning. I went ahead and added 2 more cups of water in order to have everything submerged in water. Then I added about 1.5 cups of diced mushrooms. You can use canned or fresh. We chose to use fresh mushrooms. After you've placed your lid on, go ahead and turn it off of saute mode and turn it on to manual for 15 minutes. And once it's done cooking, go ahead and use the instant relief valve. When it is done cooking, this is what you have at the end. I'm telling you guys, this soup was awesome. So I hope y'all give it a try, and I hope this tutorial was helpful. In the description below the video is where I'll post the recipe. Thanks for watching.